And we're going to move on to number 22.
Did you? Number 22. Number 22.
What made me laugh was scrolling down LinkedIn, and you had spent 5 months at Chiat Day, and you basically said, thank you for scrolling all the way down.
Yeah. That's the that's like the intern, the first job internship.
Yeah.
And at that point you're like, I'm supposed to delete these things by this point in my career, but I'm like not gonna delete that name. And it was the weirdest, randomest internship. So thanks for reading.
Thanks for reading. No, it's interesting because when I have this theory about interviewing people. So when I was at Ad Weekend at the Drum, and I think to some degree here as well, I do this thing called bottom of the bio first. And so I generally read the last half of a bio, and that's where you get to know what the person, maybe how the person thinks, how they're involved with the world around them. And that provides context because, let's face it, a lot of the way that people describe their roles can be somewhat interchangeable. But when you get to the bottom of the bio, I think that's most interesting. You call yourself an underdog here. And the thing about it too is you've been part of the digital piece of this industry. You and I were both part of this transition. Walk us through what you've observed and how that has informed how you approach creativity. Because I think it's important to understand that a lot of us have these paths and a lot of them are not linear. But I'm curious about how all of those progressions have informed how you think and how you create.
First of all, I'm stealing bottom of the bio. That's great.
Please do.
Gonna take that. In terms of the digital path, I think it's almost like, do you want to admit that you're doing digital creative, or are we all still clinging to like, oh, I go on production and I only do Super Bowl work, or I only do like car shoots. And maybe there are definitely people, like there are people in my network that still do that. That's fine. But back in 2010, I was, 4 years into advertising, and, I was looking around and I was looking at like where the world was going, and there was an opportunity to join another group in the agency I was at that did internet-y things and built fun little places on the internet. And I was like, well, that looks cool, and maybe I'll try that. And so, right. That leads to that. And then 2 years later, you see a job opening and they're like, well, you're going to go on production and do TV, but you also need to have, now then it became a requirement, right? Like needs to have digital experience, like whatever that means.
Right.
And so I was like, well, cool, I got that. I can do banner ads, but I can do a website layout and I can write copy for a, UX. But I can still write scripts for, Motel 6 or whatever.
Right.
So yeah, I think we've all seen it come and go, and now it's just, now everybody does it and every agency says they can do it, and it's varying degrees of what that means and what they can do. And
exactly. Now, one of the traits of an underdog is scrappiness. And one of the traits that comes up for you is a relentless proactivity, specifically around, really around everything, but also more around figuring out who you partner with, right? So it could be freelancers, it could be external vendors. You probably have your list of steadies, yet at the same time, you also are willing to take a look at other things. How do you manage that process, and how do you determine who to bring in?
Sometimes it's so last minute that it's like
Right.
whoever's around.
Who has a pulse? No, I know.
Who has a pulse? Who's available? I'm at 270B right now, and we are building a nice Rolodex, so to speak, if we can use that word anymore, digital Rolodex spreadsheet of people. So hit me up if you're out there. Shameless plug.
I love that.
But yeah, I think, it's having come from a couple of bigger agencies, there's that network that you can always tap, especially here in Dallas. There are a lot of people that, it's a small enough city where we've got great talent, and it's pretty well connected. And then as we've grown at 270B, we've brought in partners, and they know people. And so yeah, it's kind of word of mouth. It's also how much can the current team here take on without, sleepless nights.
Nah, we don't want that. We don't want that. So, was it 13 straight years, Avocados from Mexico, the digital work for the
I think
Super
so.
Bowl?
Going on 13, 12.
Going on 13. Okay.
Who's counting at this point?
How long have you been at 270B?
About 18 months.
Okay, so you come into this knowing that they've been doing this for 12 years. Is this a case? I mean, I have to imagine it's like, you know what? I'm gonna learn this. Like, I'm not gonna be a Budinsky on this one. I'm just curious about how you come in with something that's so successful and so storied, and how you navigate. But you and I have been around a minute, but we're still willing to learn. Talk specifically about Avocados from Mexico and what you've learned, and how it'll inform continued success.
Yeah, there's definitely a learning curve. There's a history to absorb of where they've been specifically with 270B. Christian's done a great job of knowing the brand and inside and out. And so, you use the wrong color, and he's like, oh, we got to change that green. It's a different green. Mm-hmm. And the clients definitely appreciate that. And so there's a reason to learn the brand so well before we go out and do more work for them. It's because they know their brand so well. We need to make sure we do as well. Yeah, but that's all I got.
That's all you got.
Right,
no,
there.
That's fine. Listen, we're gonna move on, but thank you so much for the support, 270B. Lynn, I will not bring up that I'm a Philadelphia sports fan. So there you go. But seriously, y'all do great work, and we're gonna go hang out in Deep Ellum and have some really good food.
All right. Sounds
all right,
like
Lynn, congratulations.